again with the third figure in this G.I. Joe first wave, and overall in the series, obviously, the third figure. Destro, one of the figures in this lineup that I've been really looking forward to reviewing and owning. He, right off the bat in the pictures, looked absolutely phenomenal, so I'm really excited to have this guy. Before we start, make sure you subscribe to this channel for all future giveaways and whatnot, and for future videos as well. Anyways, guys, let's take a look at this box here. On the bottom, you can see it's this classified series, Destro, G.I. Joe, Hasbro. Warning, not for children under 3 years, 4 and up. A nice visual of Destro. Red Cobra symbol behind him. That looks really cool. Some beautiful box art here. I love how you can see the Cobra surrounding him. It kind of replaces the collar. Very cool visually. Love it. Love the eye behind him. The metallic head just looks so cool. Beautiful art. Man, this packaging is just so nice. God. Top of the box here is a Cobra symbol and a number 3. Bottom is basically nothing aside from this barcode, which you might find handy if you screenshot this. Okay, we'll get this focus here. On this side, you get a bunch of different symbols of some sort, and there is plastic covering them, so that's kind of cool from that plastic window. And on the bottom, you can see number 3, G.I. Joe. On the back, again, you see the same box art that we have seen on all the other figures. That beautiful imagery, that beautiful image of, or poster, I guess, of all the G.I. Joe characters we're getting in this first wave, as well as some that we have not seen yet or are announced and coming out, like Gung Ho and some other ninjas up there. But we haven't, I don't know what those guys are. I don't know a whole ton of G.I. Joe lore or anything. I mean, I'm definitely going to learn now that I have these. It's been a long time, but it's a very nice packaging, beautiful. Some of my favorite 6-inch figure packaging. But without further ado, let's take a look at Destro. So Destro comes with this gun, which unfortunately has no place you can really hold it, no holster or anything, but he can hold it himself, so whatever. But it looks good. The hilt is very cool looking. It's kind of curved. I love the scope on the top, but we're kind of lacking some sculpting at the end of the scope here that goes towards him. Aside from that, it's a really great paint scheme, very nicely detailed, and it looks good overall. I dig it. It's a nice accessory, and like I said, I do like that red color scheme, especially up here. I think that was a nice place to include it personally. Focus this in for you. Looks good overall. Then here we get this badass all gold gun, which is a bit more realistic looking, but not quite. It almost looks like a revolver of some sort because of this piece here that's very rounded out, futuristic revolver. But overall, it looks very nice. I really dig it, and it does have a holster for the gun, which I will show you in a bit here. Then lastly, we have his briefcase, which is my favorite accessory. I love the red Cobra symbol in the front here. We get an all black one on the back that isn't painted. Would have been cool if that one was painted too, but I'm not really going to complain too much. It looks good either way. What you can do is just pop this open. It'd be cool if these little buckles actually lifted. But you can see on the inside there's a little computer here with a Cobra symbol, which is very nice. And some money on top. How dope is that? It looks like it should be money anyways, like stacked dollar bills. That's very cool though. I really like how they added that. It looks very nice on the inside. It's not just a plain old briefcase or some cool stuff on the inside. So very nice work there. And the screen, I should mention too, is a nice plastic. I like that. So you can shut it. It snaps together pretty nice. And he can hold the briefcase quite nicely in this hand. He can hold it in his other hand as well. And Destro can hold this golden gun in both of his hands here. But again, like the Snake Eyes figure, my only complaint is the fact that these hands are not flexible at all, man. They're so, like, such a hard plastic. It's hard to fit those, you know, anything in their hands, really. Sorry if you can hear cars going by outside. I live in town. It's a problem, I know. But you can see it fits in both of his hands really nicely, actually, but it's just difficult to get in. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Anyways, it does go in the holster too, she has here for this gun, and it looks really nice. It fits in there very snug. Okay, so Destro's other black gun fits in this holster, and in my opinion looks a lot better in the holster than this gun. However, it is much bigger. Both can fit in the holster. You can pop this one out here of his hands and slide it right in there, and both fit. And I mean, it's really your preference, whatever you want to display at his side and have him holding the other one. It's really up to you what you want to do. If you just want to have him with one in his holster and then put the other one away, I don't know. I don't care. Do what you want to do.
but both of them look good in the holster and both of them fit. Aside from that, this gun obviously is going to fit in his hand nicely. I've stated this before with the Snake Eyes figure, these hands are like a really hard plastic and they're really hard to bend apart and kind of fit the gun in. However, this gun's a little bit easier because you don't have a trigger like swoop. This design is like an open trigger, basically. It's not closed like this one is, so it just slides into his hand pretty easy, and the trigger finger goes over the trigger very nicely, and it will likely fit in his other hand. We'll see. Yep, it actually fits in there quite a bit more snug than this one, but I've also been putting more shit in this hand, so I'm guessing that's probably why these hands take a little bit to get back to their form, but they are a hard plastic. And you can see here, taking a look at Destro's face sculpt, we can brighten this up a little bit. It is very gorgeous, man. Beautiful sculpting work, beautiful line work going down the head and all the way on the back of the head. Very, very nicely done. Very clean. The paint is beautiful. The eyes are a nice dark gray. You can see some bolts around the neck here. Very nice sculpting work on the neck as well. And I love this necklace they include. So overall, the head sculpt is perfect. Overall, the detail on Destro's body is phenomenal. I love the color scheme. We get a nice grayish brown right here on the knees, the boots, and part of his chest, where on the chest it is actually textured really nicely. It's like a rib texture, so that's beautiful work. And it's consistent all throughout. A very nice, consistent color. The only colors that are not consistent are the metallics and some of the reds. So the red on this collar here and on this holster, on the gun, on his arm, all pretty consistent. However, this red here on the belt has some paint smudging, a little crusty. Hopefully you guys can see that. I can brighten this up for you. And you can see there's a tiny bit of smudging on Destro. Aside from that, the paint work is very nice, and that red is just a little bit darker than the rest of the reds. So really no paint problems at all, honestly. But beautiful texturing here on the chest, very nice work with the metallics. I mean, despite the differences between the head and the gauntlets, I don't really see that there's a big deal with it. Honestly, I don't think I'd want them the same exact color, because if these metallics were all the same color, the head would not pop as much as it does. It looks wonderful. I love its bright silver reflective kind of tone. Did a fantastic job with it, really. On the back side, you can see more of that rib sculpting. There's a little bit of paint scuffing there. That really sucks. It is kind of ugly, but at least it's not on his front side, you know. Otherwise, on the butterfly joints, there's really no paint problems, and there's a tendency for that to happen, considering they're so close, but there's actually kind of a nice gap here, so you don't really get any paint damage there. So no problems there. Aside from that, really beautiful sculpting. Again, they have this soft plastic ass here, pelvis, and that works very nicely. The boots are also great. I love the feet on these guys. That's really weird to say. I'm not Quentin Tarantino, but they really do like great proportioning with the body in general. The feet aren't too big, where with a lot of figures you get some pretty big ass feet that look kind of wonky. These guys are just proportioned so perfect, man. Like, my God. Another thing too, on these hands, we get great sculpt work as well. I love the sculpting on those hands. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, there's a better look at the hands. You can see how great they are. And the boots as well have beautiful sculpt. Look at that. That is just so phenomenal. And it almost comes up like a cobra shape in the center of his boots. Hell, they could have painted that red. That would have looked cool. But they did a really fantastic job overall. The line work on these gauntlets as well is just gorgeous. Overall, I really love Destro's sculpt, man. This is easily one of my favorite figures from the wave, if not my favorite, along with Snake Eyes. He's a great figure, an essential G.I. Joe character. The head sculpt is so cool. God, when my brightness is up like this, the ISO is so high because I want to show you the small details. The head is just boom, right there. So, very nice work overall. Weapons are held nicely. They look really good. The briefcase is so dope when you have him hold it. But again, I'll show you, this is a pain in the ass. I kind of try to bend these forward, and you got to do it quick. You really can't squeeze it in there. And if you do, it's just, oh hey, it kind of popped in there. But I think it's because I actually opened it. So taking a look at Destro's articulation, his head goes back very far, not hindered by the collar at all, which is a really beautiful collar as well, no paint rubbing there. It also looks down. He does also have the neck joint. I wasn't sure if he was going to have it because of this, you know, metal neck, but it does. If you can see that there's a sculpting line there, you can see where the neck kind of fits in that pocket, so he has a double ball jointed neck, so that's very nice. It allows for very organic movement with the neck. You can see here, side to side, very nice pivoting, back, front. He also has the rotation as well. So overall, that neck is very, very nice. He does have arm joints that go very, very far out. Like, my God, that's wonderful. All the way around, if you please. There's butterfly joints as well. They can obviously go all the way around at the bicep. He has a nice bicep swivel. Double jointed elbows. A rotation at the wrist. A hinge at the wrist that goes up and down rather than in and out. And it also kind of snaps and pops when you do it, so it kind of locks into place. So they're not going to get loose at all. Very nice. And regardless of what you put in his hand, it should hold pretty well. It's not going to slide down like that, no matter how heavy it is, because it has that snapping joint. At least I think that's what they're aiming for. I don't know. But it looks cool, and I like that a lot. Otherwise, he has a great ab crunch. Phenomenal. He also has the swivel down here, as you can see, down at his waist, and also allows for a nice rotation, another kind of pivot with the hips, so his hips can stick out. He can dodge a bullet. I have no idea. Very cool. I love that piece of articulation, honestly. And when you implement that swivel and bend him forward, it kind of helps him look forward and back. But overall, it just allows for really organic movement. It just looks very nice and natural. And it's just why not do it, man? You're going to be putting a rotation there anyways, so you might as well put a little swivel and add a little pivot. Beautiful work there. The legs go forward very, very far. Go back pretty far, go side to side all the way out. They do drop down very nicely, which is something we really didn't see with the Snake Eyes figure. I'll pop him out here. He kind of does, but barely, man. I don't know if your guys' do. Please comment below and let me know if your Snake Eyes figure has drop down knees, because mine does not, sadly. So I don't know, drop down knees, drop down legs. Anyways, double jointed knees. Rotations as well. Rotation at the calf, a hinge at the foot, and an ankle pivot. And I think you can see it here too. I also wanted to mention, if you look, his eyes are not just a dark gray, but they do have some really light blue pupils, which is really great attention to detail. Very beautiful work. Then here's Destro next to Snake Eyes and Duke, and as you can see, Duke is a little bit taller than Destro, but they're about the same height. I mean, without his hair, they're probably the same exact height. And Snake Eyes is just a little bit shorter than Destro. And then here's Destro next to Scarlet and Roadblock. And you can see Roadblock is a Roadblock. He's literally huge compared to Destro. He's quite a bit taller. And Scarlet is just a tad bit shorter than Destro. Honestly, not even a tad bit. She's a lot a bit shorter than Destro. And then here's Destro next to some relatively well-known lines. Some of you may have heard of them, Marvel Legends and Star Wars The Black Series. And one thing I really like about these Hasbro figures is, from what I've seen so far, they seem to have consistent sizes spanning across all their 6-inch figure lines. Where Luke is like Mark Hamill's height, like 5'8", 5'9", or something like that. I'd say Destro is definitely around 6 foot, and Cap is probably like 6'1" or 2" or something. So Cap is a little bit taller than Destro, and Mark Hamill is honestly exactly where he should be relative to these guys. So, I mean, the heights are consistent with how you'd really picture these characters, so I like that quite a bit. And just to prove myself right and prove it to myself, really, it seems Darth Vader is quite a bit taller than Destro, as he should be, because Darth Vader is obviously just a towering mass, dude. If you know who played Darth Vader, was in the suit, not James Earl Jones, but David Prowse, who they actually dubbed over. They had James Earl Jones dub his lines over, which was probably the best choice. David Prowse was a huge dude, so it makes sense that he'd be quite a bit taller than Destro. But again, you can see consistency across their lines. For the most part, I mean, if you're really trying to be accurate, I think Vader would be a little bit taller than Destro, but for the most part, he gets the job done and he's quite a bit taller, so very cool. So overall, Destro is a beautiful figure. I highly recommend him. He is a great first introduction to the Cobra side of G.I. Joe, man. Just overall, I mean, I don't know a lot about these characters. I know Snake Eyes took a vow of silence. I read something that said his face got disfigured. There's kind of conflicting things on Snake Eyes, but either way, I don't know a whole lot about these guys, but I do know this. They're beautiful character designs. They're iconic characters. They've been around in the toy industry forever, and they are, again, kind of really revolutionary on the Hasbro side of things in terms of their 6-inch lines, because I've not seen 6-inch figures from Hasbro with this kind of articulation. I haven't collected the Power Rangers line. I don't know what kind of articulation they have. I've never been a big Power Rangers guy. But I know, as far as I'm concerned, these are the best 6-inch figures from Hasbro I have ever seen. These are absolutely phenomenal figures. I am in love with them. I love the articulation, which is what really makes them so special. The detailing is great too, great attention to detail. The fact that they can store their weapons is phenomenal. And this guy in particular is one of the best out of the wave in my opinion. So if you're going to get these guys, I highly recommend you pick him up. He should definitely be one of your first picks if you see him, because he is phenomenal, and I'm sure in time he'll be harder and harder to get a hold of, so I'd get him now while you have the chance. He's a beautiful figure. I love the gold work on him, gold-plated stuff, just like, you know, he's kind of like the Donald Trump of G.I. Joes. Likes gold-plated things, and he's as dumb as a rock. So, very beautiful. I love this figure. Highly recommend you go pick him up. And aside from that, thank you for watching this. Please continue to keep watching. Ignore my political commentary if you don't like it. I don't really care. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Please stay tuned for more. Stay tuned for giveaways. And comment below and talk about figures with me, man. I love to talk about figures. Let me know what you think of Destro. And what's your favorite figure in this G.I. Joe wave, man? Because everybody's going to have a different favorite. Some people have the same. So let me know what you're thinking about these figures. Let me know what you think of G.I. Joe. Talk to me about the Power Rangers articulation, too. Do they have similar articulation to these guys? Because I don't know. Aside from that, guys, stay tuned for more. And most importantly, number one, keep collecting. Peace, guys.